All right, folks, we'll get ready to go here. Your Rocky Mountain Rough Riders facing off against the Capitals Blue out of Ohio. Jeremy's here running the clock and the score and the shots. Matt Meyer and his steady hand on the camera. And sitting with us today also is Dave from the Capitals organization, running his film and commentary as well. Opening face-off. We have Shibby out here with Cooper. And Schofield. On the back is Nickerson and Schoenheider. In, Palek across. Shot by Schofield. And a quick glove save from the Capitals goaltender. We'll see a face-off just to the right of the goaltender. Fresh set of officials on the ice after the last game got a little heated. Not our game, but the game before. A shot just wide of the net. Down low is Shibby. Shibby goes behind the back. Feeds Schofield. Schofield centering pass to Shibby. Shibby rings it in off the bar. And the Rough Riders out to an early lead. What is that, 23 seconds into the game? Got to compliment Jeremy on his footwear. He's got a fresh pair of boots he's wearing. Looks like Doc Martens. They look quite nice. Giving him about a 3-inch boost.
I need it.
Up to Corcoran. Corcoran gets muscled off the puck. Back to Meyer on the D. D cross to O'Connell. O'Connell up to Hernandez. Hits him in the back of the skate. Capitals recover. Left D. Chips it off the boards to himself, but Corcoran grabs it. Now back to O'Connell. O'Connell off the boards to Giffen. Giffen just under his stick. Capitals D fires it out to the neutral zone. Meyer there at the red line. Feeds Giffen. Giffen carries it in. That looked like it was offside, but nobody on the blue line to see it. Held in by Battioli on the line. Mattioli creates some space. Leaves it on the wall. And now out to Schoenheider. Schoenheider from the right side takes a shot. That hits a shin pad on the way through of Taylor and goes to the near side boards. From Hernandez, fired into the slot. That's turned aside and now sent the length of the ice for an icing, just to the right of Win Mukai's cage. There it is, Win. Face-off won by Cooper. Touched up to Schoenheider. Schoenheider takes a shot. Blocked by Peel on the reel on the left point. Now all the way in past Schoenheider. Chasing back to O'Connell. Marked by Stout. Stout takes the puck on the end wall. O'Connell slows him up. Cooper back to help out on the end wall. Leaves it for O'Connell. O'Connell out to Dixon. Dixon fans on a pass. The second pass is picked off and then dumped back in by the Capitals. Picked up by Reel. Reel shot. Reel ramps up and over. Mukai grabs it out of the air, and they're going to call that a high stick. We'll see a face-off all the way back down to the left side of the Capitals goaltender. Today we're not the Rough Ride, we're just the Rough. Rough against the Capitals. Giffen in for this face-off. He wins it between his feet to Schofield. Schofield's shot. And the Capitals goaltender sucks that in. Capitals goalie wearing number 88 as well. So we have two Vasilevsky fans on the ice. Giffen in for this face-off. Again. This time one over towards Shibby. Shibby couldn't get a stick on it. It's out to the half wall, marked by Schofield. Schofield sends it in offside. Shibby was still over the line. We'll have a face-off right in front of the Capitals bench. Giffen in for this face-off yet again. One back to the Capitals. Stout sends it up to Nickerson. Nickerson from the left side. Cross to Krestov. Krestov goes rink wide. That's picked off by the Capitals. Giffen strips the puck off a Capitals player, passed over to Shibby. Shibby, quick shot, that's wide of the net on a pass from Schofield. Giffen breaking up the play along the half wall. Schofield, they're trying to dig it out and send it in. Now he does. Can't get to the puck in time. And down low is the Capitals. Come sit up here so you're out of his sight line. Sent in. Bukai slows it down as it comes through. Picked up by Shibby on a broken play in the neutral zone. Shibby's got some space, and he takes it along the half wall, sent up high, held in by Nickerson, dances past one player, Schofield to Cooper. Cooper shot, stick save, and the goaltender hangs on as Nickerson was on the doorstep looking for a juicy rebound, but there was none there. Coop on the ice with Hernandez and Corcoran. Up high to Meyer. Meyer from the right point sends it down low to Corcoran. Corcoran tips it toward the net, but it's wide. Hernandez from the far corner tries a centering pass. That's cut off. Cooper steps into the right wing on the half wall. Leaves it for Hernandez. Hernandez tries to give it to Palek and does. Palek spins away from pressure. Up to Cohen. Cohen up to the point. Schoenheider's shot. That hits a Capital skate, and now the puck's out in the neutral zone. Meyer tips it forward to Corcoran. Corcoran dumps it in. Back is Kappas behind his own net. He goes out to the right wing. Centering pass on the breakout. Puck is loose. Schoenheider turns on the Jets, gets to the puck and angles off his player first, then gets held up a little bit. That's a soft hold coming, but it is what it is. It's going to be against the Capitals. Free hand was over Schoenheider's chest, but I wouldn't say that he was holding him up as Schoenheider's feet were no longer really moving on the play because he had angled off the player. Wait a minute. Oh, so Schoenheider's headed to the box as well for a cross-check? A cross-check or a hold? I have nothing. We're going to skate 5-on-5, so no real impact to the game other than Schoenheider and the Capitals player sitting down for a minute and a half. All right, face-off, won by the Capitals. In deep to the corner, O'Connell's there. He's got it on the end wall, picked up by the Capitals, stepping in to help out our two Rough Riders players. Capitals come out with the puck. Out of the Gretzky office, boxed up by Krestov. Now the puck comes free with the Capitals into the corner. Giffen forces a turnover. And then Nickerson rims it around hard. Pulled off the wall, but it's held in at the point by Rossi. And now a penalty coming against Nickerson for interference. Okay. I angled the kid who didn't have the puck. It's all right. All right, Nickerson to the box for his sins. Up high to the point, Capitals dump it in. It's down low, stepping in is Krestov. He takes away that player. Over to the far side, Meyer touches it up to Coop. Coop gets it out of the zone. Shibby there on Taylor. Now it's carried back in. Shot, that ramps up off a stick, never gets through. Stepping in the way is Cooper. Cooper grabs the puck, has Shibby in front of him. Cooper decides to lug it in, carries it wide, has a head of steam, leaves it for Shibby. Shibby, quick shot, big pad save from the Capitals goaltender, and into the corner. Shibby works his way past two players, now past three players, into the slot, turns, fires, that's blocked by Taylor into the corner. And now Reel there, Reel picked off, pass picked off by Shibby, quick shot, that's wide of the net. Onto the near side half wall, he goes up high to Meyer, Meyer rifles it into the far corner. Not sure if that was meant to be a dump in or a shot. Macchioli on the half wall loses an edge, recovers, and now the puck is out to Shibby back on D. Shibby across the red line, dumps it in off his backhand and goes for a change. Mattioli into the corner, chasing. Delivers a bit of a late check, but nothing consequential. And now a long pass, cut off. And now Rousey with the puck. And Rousey dumps it in. 8 seconds remaining on Nickerson's penalty. Puck down low to Meyer. Meyer out wide to Dixon on the half wall, held in by the Capitals defenseman. That's out. Nickerson stepping onto the ice, gets a pass, sends it forward off a skate and into the offensive zone for the Riders. Dixon on the half wall, picks up the puck, works his way down into the corner, tries to spin away from Hall. Hall comes out with the puck, but Dixon all over him. Hall forced around to the far corner, and then an outlet pass to the wing, and then off the boards, sent back the other way. Here comes Schofield. Schofield shot, stick save, that ramps up into the air, and the Capitals goaltender hangs on to it. The two matching minors in front of us, Schoenheider and Fairbanks, now released from the box at this first stoppage of play. The matching minors. Giffen for the face-off. That's one into the corner by the Capitals. Giffen swings through, sends it up high to the point. Here comes Nickerson. Nickerson, wrist shot, glove save, and a pretty one from the Capitals goaltender. And we'll see a face-off in the far corner. Giffen pushes it into the corner. Hernandez there, puts pressure on the D-man. Then across to this side, Corcoran steps into the defenseman, breaks apart the play, comes away with the puck. Corcoran slips off his stick down low, cycled into the corner. And now a pass out to the neutral zones collected by Hernandez, left for Krestov. Krestov over to Nickerson. Nickerson up to Hernandez. Hernandez behind his back, tries to feed Nicky. And that's picked off by the Capitals. Racing back is Cohen. Cohen drives it back out to the neutral zone. Corcoran with some space. Carries it in the far corner, shot. That goes right through the crease to the far side. Over on the far side, battling for the puck. And now down low. Nicky looks up ice to Corcoran. Corcoran touch pass into the neutral zone. That's going to go the length of the ice and get whistled down for an icing. Coopin for this face-off. He wins it out to Nickerson. Nickerson runs it around hard. That's going to go the length of the ice. Another icing, and we'll have a face-off in the same spot. Wrapped around hard, Schofield on the far wall. It slips past his stick, sent in, cut off by Schoenheider, who takes a stick to the face from his knees. Schoenheider into the corner, steps into that player. Now the puck is loose as it travels toward Mukai. Mukai grabs onto it as Cooper starts making friends with new players from the other team. What's that? No. That was behind the goal line. Yeah. Jeremy and I, reviewing the last play at the net, determined the puck was below the goal line. It was not a shot. It would never have gone in. Dixon muscles off a player on the face-off. Down low, Capitals centering pass. That's picked off by Meyer. Meyer looks up ice, finds Shibby on the near side, bounces off his backhand, but into the offensive zone. Shibby muscles it through. Is contained in by 61. Oh, Jesus. Big hit from the Capitals player on Dixon, and a cross-check called. That may have been the first real penalty of the game. On a game that has been tightly called so far. Mattioli, Palick, Hernandez. Mattioli goes up high to Shibby on the point. Shibby across to Schofield on the other point. Back to Shibby. Shibby one-timer. He gets right under that with the 60 degree and puts it well up over the net. Down in the corner. Hernandez trying to chase it down. Comes all the way up high to Shibby. Skips out to the neutral zone. Shibby across to Sko. Sko pauses, carries it in, leaves it for Palick on the line. Palick over to Mattioli. Mattioli on his backhand takes a shot and a nice calm save from the Capitals goaltender. Oh, our shot's really 8-0.
That's why I was like, can I give him one?
I'm such a jerk to my son. No, that would never have gone in. Up high to Schoenheider. Schoenheider at the blue line. Down to O'Connell on the wing. O'Connell, it's pushed into the corner and then wrapped around. Racing for the puck on the half walls. Nickerson, he drives it back down low. And then sent back over to this side. O'Connell with the puck off the half wall. Errant pass, ends up on 87's stick. Here comes Fairbanks. Nickerson muscles him off the puck. And now here's Schoenheider. Through to the neutral zone. Top of the circle. Centering pass. The goaltender got a stick on that and put it into the corner. Centering pass from O'Connell. Tried to find Hernandez on the far side. Fairbanks cuts that off. And then Fairbanks pushes it in deep. They're going to call that an ice. I thought that was off a Rough Rider's stick, but it is what it is. Meyer in for this face-off. He wins it into the corner. Tracking it down is Mattioli. Dixon tries to feed it up high to Schoenheider, but it doesn't get there. Schoenheider, I'm not sure that was fully across the line, but an eagle-eyed linesman was there to blow it down. Corcoran gets the puck off the faceoff, carries it across the blue line. Recovered by Williams. Williams works his way wide, shot. Easy glove save for Mukai on that one. We'll call that a shot. I still think that one was going wide as well, but we'll call it a shot.
From this angle.
All right, that's fair. We can go back to the replay and double check. But all right, worked up high from the point across the Hall. That was out of Hall's reach. Now chipped out of the, no, not out of it. Yep, out of the zone by Corcoran. Hall grabbed it in the neutral zone and played it back in. And we have a quick whistle for an offside right below us. One back to Krestov. Krestov over to Nicky. Nicky comes rink wide to Corcoran. Corcoran right in front of us, carries it in. Centering pass, that's a shot on net and sticked aside. Mattioli onto the half wall, held in by Nickerson in his skates. Centering pass to himself, picks it up, turns. Another centering pass that's sticked aside by the goaltender. Call it a shot if you want. Oh, and a shot from the near side. Mattioli is turned just wide by a player. Glove down, and now up top. Corcoran lost his stick on the play. Racing back is Giffen to break apart the play. Great back check from Giffen. And now onto the half wall. Krestov feeds it around onto the wall. Picked up by Nickerson. Nickerson comes out wide to Corcoran. Corcoran's going to be forced to chase this one down. No icing on that play. And now sent up far side. Coming back, 2-on-1 on Schoenheider. Schoenheider drives him wide. Centering pass goes right through the crease. Up high. That hits Cooper Palick's skate. He carries it out to the neutral zone across the line. Dumps it into the corner. First one there's Mattioli on the end boards. Mattioli. Sent over to the far side. Left there for Shibby. Shibby with the puck. Centering pass finds Cooper. Cooper couldn't get off the one-timer, so elected for the backhand. Backhand led to a save from the Capitals goaltender. Shibby in for this face-off, wins it between his legs, up high to Schoenheider. Schoenheider goes across to Nick Connell. Connell takes a quick snapshot, and the goaltender hangs on to that one. One into the corner, wrapped around to the half wall. Here comes Schoenheider, steps into his player, but it's sent back into our defensive end. Should be back to pick up the puck. It was rolling on him, so it slipped off his stick. An errant pass ends up on the Capitals' stick. Wrap around, no, not a wrap around. Sent up high to Taylor on the left point. Quick shot. Hey, it's something on the way through, or maybe it hit Wynn. Unsure, really. Ends up in the corner. Chipped out to the neutral zone by Schofield. Partner pass by the Capitals. That's dumped in for an ice. And that gets blown down. 1:47 remaining here at the first. It's a 1-0 hockey game. And Jeremy says there's been 2 shots on Wynn to the 10 that the Riders have acquired throughout the course of the first period. Rimmed around hard, coming up high to the point. Krestov couldn't quite hold it in. Dixon there to help him out. Clifford kicks it back into his own zone, picked up by Taylor. Taylor across the blue line. Taylor takes a shot. That goes off Krestov's skate. Hits the end wall. Nickerson picks up the puck out of the far corner. Nickerson looks up ice, decides to carry it on his own. Across the line. Fakes a pass. Now shot. Save from the goaltender. And then the bouncing rebound trickles in off somebody. Not sure who they're going to say got that. Was it Cohen? I think it may have gone off one of their players. Nickerson saying Cohen. Capitals end up winning that faceoff. Back to their D. Hall with the puck. Hall goes back to his partner on the right side. Mishandled puck. Now on the half wall. Racing for it was Dixon, but he couldn't get there in time. And now here come the Capitals. Little Stasny spin out on the half wall. Spins himself actually into pressure. And then that's dumped in or sent in offside by the Capitals. And we'll see a faceoff with 50 seconds remaining right in front of the Rough Riders bench. Shibby chases down a puck, breaks it free, gets it into the offensive zone. Now it comes back out to the neutral zone. Picked up by Shibby this time, fed over to Schofield. Schofield, shot, glove save. And we're down to 30 seconds here in the first. Fairbanks player gets knocked to the ice, picked up by Palak. Palak takes a quick shot that's wide of the net. Now with Schofield. Schofield up to Krestov. Krestov wrist shot that hits something on the way through, goes wide into the end boards. And now a shot, pad save on a quick little attempt from behind the goal line. Back comes Williams, has the puck stripped by Palak. Palak across to Schofield, 3 seconds to go. Schofield centering pass. But that, folks, was too late in the first as the buzzer sounds. We'll pause here for a station break. All right, folks, a return to action here in the second. 15 minutes back up on the board. Swoop in for this face-off. Wins it back easily to Schoenheider. Schoenheider O'Connell. O'Connell off the boards to Schofield. It was in his skates and then carried in. O'Connell, oh, Jesus. Takes a big hit as he was falling down. And now a penalty coming against Stout. They're going to call it a rough. Somewhat delayed reaction from the official, but I think ultimately that's a good call to make. Puck sent the length of the ice by the Capitals. That's an icing. Schofield got a piece of that puck and redirected it away from the official. All right, puck is down. Shibby picks it up. Shibby over to Schofield on the half wall. Back up to Shibby on the point. Shibby, Sko centering past the Coop. Feeds it across. And now out high to Shibby. Shibby from the point. Takes a long shot. That's wide of the net. Hits the glass. Now chipped up hard and high off the glass. Shibby tries to hold it at the line. It's out to the neutral zone. And now that skips all the way back to Mattioli. Mattioli from his own face-off dots retreats behind his own net. Leaves it for Schofield. Schofield up to Shibby. Shibby goes rink wide. Across to Coop. Coop across the line. Centering pass. Tried to find Hernandez, but it was picked off by a Capitals defenseman and then chipped out of the zone. Shibby back from his defensive zone. Goes rink wide over to Cooper Palek. Palek across the line. This time as Shibby and Hernandez. Feeds Hernandez. Hernandez's shot was just wide. And then driven out of the zone by the Capitals. That goes the length of the ice and it'll be an ice. Win Mukai out of his net, playing his little game. Sends it the length of the ice back down to the official. Face-off won by the Capitals. Sent around to the near side corner. On the half wall is Nickerson. Nickerson couldn't quite hold it in, so retreats out to the neutral zone and then winds it back up. Across to O'Connell. O'Connell pauses. Capitals player releases from the penalty bench. Jestat picks up the puck, but it's stripped off his stick by Giffen. Giffen feeds O'Connell, gets tangled up, but O'Connell carries it in. That shot hits a player's stick, goes up high into the corner. Capitals recover. They send it the length of the ice, and that'll get... What? That icing gets waved off. Oh, my goodness. Apparently. Capitals can't get out of their defensive end. Rousey retreating back into the corner, leaves it on the wall. O'Connell swings through, picks up the puck, carries it into the corner. Leaves it for Meyer. Meyer centering pass. Dixon, it was on the wrong side. Diving, Nickerson keeps it in the zone. Dixon turns, fires. That's a shot and turned aside by the goaltender. Fired toward the net, hits the outside of the frame. Now the Capitals look to break out. They can't, though. Hemmed in by Nickerson on the half wall. Paul retreats, goes to the partner pass down low. Now a breakout out to the neutral zone. 13 across the red line. And now in, takes a shot. Pad save by Mukai, sends it into the near side corner. Nickerson chips it out. Rousey in his skates and then gets drilled by Nickerson. Fairbanks centering pass to a player all by himself, and Mukai makes a nice outstretched glove save as that player tried to deke him to the near side. And then the official has a penalty on
He got on a what's the Jake?
O'Connell for a rough, probably on that big hit that was right below us. Called it a rough. He's saying that he brought his hands up rather than delivering the check with his shoulder. Jeremy tends to agree. But that's because Jeremy shoves Nikki in the chest all the time with a fist. Just like I do to win. Gotta toughen him up somehow, right? Wait, this isn't being recorded, is it? Shibby picks up the puck, tries to feed it forward to Coop, ends up picking up the bouncing puck, carried in. Back to Nickerson. Nickerson the guilty party on that penalty, but none the wiser. Nickerson in the corner. Weathers a bump from a player, then seals it against the boards with his skate, just killing off penalty time. Now it comes loose. Swinging through was Shibby. Shibby's pass up, picked off by Hall. Bouncing puck right in the crease. Up high, shot. That hits something, doesn't get through. Now here's Schoenheider off the wall. Tries to get it up to Shibby, but can't. Back in the corners, Nickerson. Nickerson cuts away from one player. Rifles it off the boards up to Shibby. Shibby chips it out to the neutral zone. Hall now with the puck. Hall feeds a forward. Pass up. Shibby cuts off that pass. Shibby feeds it over to Coop. Coop comes in one-on-one. Coop looks for a shot. Ooh, big glove save by the Capitals goaltender, who keeps this a 2-0 hockey game right now. Matt Tioli in for this face-off. Schofield steps in, picks up the puck that Mattioli won back. Schofield feeds it back to Mattioli. He's just out of his reach. Mattioli on the half wall is guarded by 3 players, and now the Capitals come out. Back checking is Schofield. That comes in offside. Gets whistled down. And we'll see a face-off on the Rough Riders blue line right in front of the Capitals bench. 10:07 remaining here in the second. Puck is down, picked up by Schofield. Schofield takes away some ice in the neutral zone. O'Connell releases from Nickerson's penalty. Rough Riders are back full strength. Long pass across to Stout. Stout on the near side half wall. Shot. Blocker saved by Mukai. Sends it all the way over to the far half wall. Centering pass. Mukai gets a stick on that and steers it aside. Up high to the point. Jumps over Kappas' stick. Kappas has an errant pass. Goes all the way back to his goaltender, who has to hold on to that. Racing in was Mattioli. And we'll see a face-off to the right of the Capitals goalie. Right here in the near side corner. Meyer in for this face-off. Meyer wins it into the corner. I think Fairbanks actually won that. Rimmed around hard up to Schoenheider. Schoenheider holds it in right at the line. Sent back down low. Capitals recover. Leaves it for Meyer. Meyer mishandles the puck. Picked up by the defenseman. Fairbanks out to Paul. Paul right in front of us. Tries to dump it in. Now a penalty coming. Must have been well behind the play. A rough on Mattioli. Mattioli being spoken to by the official. And the Rough Riders on a penalty kill. Fairbanks facing off against Shibby. Shibby wins it easily on his backhand back to the corner. Nickerson there. He rims it around hard. That gets past Russi. Picked up by Shibby. Shibby coming in, 2-on-2. Has Cooper. Shot. Hits the goaltender right in the mask. That comes around. O'Connell keeps it in on the half wall. And now Capitals look to break it out. Paul out to the neutral zone, picked up by Nickerson. Nickerson spins away from Fairbanks, creates some space all the way out to Coop. Coop from the red line carries it in, rifles it toward the net. That's well wide of the net. Goaltender slows that down. And now the Capitals look to break out. They go rink wide across to Paul, right in front of us. Paul leaves it for Fairbanks. Fairbanks across the line. Nicky steers him outside and angles him off the puck. Paul picks up the puck behind the net. Quick shot, that comes, or not shot, pass, comes right through the lower slot. And now picked up by Shibby. Shibby lugs it out, dumps it in. Falling player leaves Palick with the puck. Palik's shot. Goaltender hangs on to that one. 28 seconds remaining on this penalty kill for the Rough Riders. One up high to Krestov. Krestov from the blue line sends it across to the far side half wall. And now out, Krestov back to his own blue line to pick up the puck. He looks up ice, tries to feed Giffen, but it was out of his reach. Now Capitals on the line, angled off by Dixon, who sends it deep into the offensive zone. Recovered by the Capitals. Meyer all over that defenseman. He goes to his partner and then pass out, gets knocked down. They're going to call that a high stick. Absolutely was a high stick. Gets knocked down by Meyer, if memory serves. And the high stick, of course, comes all the way back to the Rough Riders' defensive zone. Face-off will be to the left of Win Mukai. 7:38 remaining here in the second period. And Justat will face off against Cooper Palick. Palick easily wins it on his forehand into the corner, picked up by Nickerson. Nickerson behind his own net, sends it around the boards to Shibby. Touch pass to Coop. Coop gets picked up by a player. Play's broken apart. Back come the Capitals. They try to dump it in. Schoenheider picks it up just inside the zone. Goes rink wide across to Schofield. Schofield chases the puck down on the half wall. Out of the corner, works it up high to Nickerson. Nickerson, partner pass over to Schoenheider. Schoenheider down low. Quick one-timer from Shibby is wide of the net. Nickerson sends it back down low to Schofield. Schofield to Cooper. Cooper centering pass. That was just behind Shibby. He got a stick on it, but it goes wide. And then an unsuccessful breakout as Nickerson breaks apart the play. Picked up by Schoenheider. Schoenheider behind his back to Shibby. Gets taken out by Shibby. Shibby fends off two defensive players. Schofield up high to Schoenheider. Held in at the line by Nicky. Nicky under pressure, tries to dump it in on his backhand, picked up by Justat. Justat lugs it in, gets tangled up with the official, now out to the neutral zone. Shibby gets angled off the play, but Cooper's there. Cooper picks up the puck. Cooper to Schofield. Schofield on his backhand, touches it just wide. Cooper from Wayne Gretzky's office tries to work free, gets tangled up, but comes out with the puck. Cooper in the high slot, leaves it up high for Nicky. Nicky across to Coop. Coop, centering pass. That hits a stick on the way through and goes up in the air. Another centering pass goes all the way through the slot. Held in at the line by Krestov. Krestov leaves it for Schofield. Schofield tries to find Shibby on the back door. That hits something. Shibby fends off an incoming check. Now the puck's tied up in the corner. Nickerson pinches. Shibby comes away with the puck. Shibby feeds it across. One-timer from Krestov, and a big pad save from the goaltender. Now Schofield. Schofield, marked by two players, tips it right through the crease and then sent the length of the ice by the Capitals. That was a long time in the defensive zone for the Capitals. And now Mukai playing this little game. Sends it the length of the ice back to the other official. Play resumes. Into the near side half wall. Battle for the puck. Comes up high. Carried out by Fairbanks. Fairbanks tries to get by Krestoff and can't. Play broken apart. Giffen tries to center it. Paul to Fairbanks. Fairbanks toe drag. Can't quite find it. Puck is loose. Mukai dives on it. As Schoenheider dives on Mukai's head. Nobody any worse for the wear. And we'll see a face-off to the right of Win Mukai's net. Owen Meyer in for this face-off. O'Connell picks it up from the face-off circle. Sends it around to Dixon. That goes the length of the ice past Kappas. No icing on this play. Into the corner. Mattioli tries to chase it down. Can't. Errant puck picked up by Dixon. Dixon finds Nickerson on the far side. Nickerson goes back to Meyer. That hits a stick. And now a penalty coming for a cross-check on the Capitals. Anybody else see a cross-check? No? Okay. 61 to the bench. And the Rough Riders will go on a power play. Yeah, I saw him down too. All right, face off, controlled by Capitals. Puck comes up high to Schoenheider. He feeds it down low to Connell, up to Nickerson. Nickerson from the left side point goes down, pulls it out of the corner, feeds it up high to Schoenheider. Schoenheider back to Nickerson on the left side. Nickerson centering pass, tried to feed Dixon. Dixon wasn't ready for the shot. O'Connell, battle there. Meyer into the corner. And Dixon comes out with the puck. Dixon has some room, comes up high to Nickerson. Nickerson onto the half wall, comes back up high to Schoenheider, back down to Nickerson on the half wall. Long pass, ends up out in the neutral zone. Chasing back is Schoenheider. Schoenheider with the puck. Goes up ice, tipped into the offensive zone. Nickerson, errant pass is picked up by the Capitals. Nickerson breaks apart the play. Back comes Meyer. Meyer feeds Dixon. Dixon across the blue line. He cuts in, shot that hits a stick and goes wide. Now up high, held in by Shibby. Shibby takes some space, takes a shot that's high over the net. Now a battle for the puck. Shot. That hits Taylor in the back. Connell up to Dixon. Dixon from the point. Shot. Pad save. Schoenheider one-timer. Blocker save. And now ribbed around hard. Coop seals the board. Sends it back down low. Meyer on the end wall. Slows up the puck. Takes a hit. Tries to center it. Hits the frame of the net. Goes to the near side corner. Meyer loses an edge. And now it's sent around hard. I don't think that's an ice. Nope, the puck is dying. So all the way back is O'Connell. O'Connell out to Schofield. Schofield tries to take the pass in his skates. Bats it down with a high stick. And we'll see a face-off to the left of Win Mukai's net. All right, here comes Stout from the Capitals, marked by Nickerson. Stout loses an edge. Nickerson pushes it forward to Krestoff. Krestoff in the far corner, backhands it up to Corcoran. Corcoran chips it out to the neutral zone. Now back come the Capitals. Nickerson picks up the puck again. Nickerson behind his own net, stops, pauses, looks up ice. He's looking for somebody breaking. Sends it rink wide to Corcoran. That bounces over his stick. All the way back is Hall. Hall spins away from Corcoran in the corner. Corcoran, nice little stick check, breaks apart the play. And now Hernandez takes a stick to the back of his head from his troubles. Long pass into the neutral zone to 11. 11 dances past Corcoran, sends it in. That hits Nickerson, goes into the far corner. Krestov chases that down. Gets checked by Hall. Dug loose, up high to the point. That's sent back down low. Oh, on the doorstep, shot. That goes high, up into the netting. Jeremy, do you have that as a shot and save, or was that just a very high shot?
Did it hit?
The referee actually said it deflected off something, but I have hit our defender. It was not going in, Jeremy. It's not a shot. Ooh, shot, tip, and a big glove save by Mukai. He hangs on at the 1:10 mark here in the second period as Jeremy and I argue over shots and saves. As always, Jeremy's correct. Jeremy is right, and I have no idea. Okay, Meyer gets tossed from the face-off. Set up high to Kappas. Kappas down to the half wall. Marked by O'Connell. O'Connell all over Paul. Paul can't get free. Now driven up high. Across is Mattioli on the half wall. Out comes Paul. Paul, shot. Glove saved by Mukai. 51 seconds remaining. Cooper Palick in for this face-off. One up high to Kappas. Kappas takes a half-hearted clapper that doesn't get through. Picked up by Schofield. Across the line. Schofield cuts to the middle. Shot. And a rebound shot from Shibby. Makes this a 3-0 hockey game. Jeremy, I had 2 shots there if it matters. Yeah, there was the shot, save, and then the rebound. You're welcome. I'm not here telling you how to do your job.
Yeah, you are.
From Matt, he's telling Jeremy, just be better. Coop with the puck. Sends it forward to Schofield. Schofield across the line. Shot. Nice gloves. Oh, no! I thought the goalie made the save, and that trickled across the goal line, making this a 4-0 hockey game. It was saved, and he lost it, eh? He just didn't know where it was. Colt must have gotten a lot of heat on that shot because the goalie clearly made a save, and then it ended up somehow behind him. Here comes Turek across the line, muscled off by Shibby. Pass out to Schofield in the neutral zone. Schofield, 3-on-2, tries to toe drag it past Dorsey, collects the puck. It's up on the blue line. Schoenheider skates past one player in the slot. There's the buzzer, and that's the end of the second period, where your Rough Riders have scored 2 more goals to make this a 4-0 game. We'll pause here for a break. All right, a return to action. Down low. Capitals swinging around. Meyer all over the player. That comes up high. Skips past Krestoff. Back to Nickerson. Nickerson from his own blue line picks up the puck. Now out. Collected by Turdick. Turdick on his backhand arcs it way up and over in deep. Krestoff out of the far corner. Carries it behind his net. Weathers the storm. Passes up to Mattioli. Mattioli couldn't get a stick on it, and that gets whistled down for the offside. All right, face off one up high to Hall. Hall sends it in. Stout gets pinned by O'Connell. Now the puck comes free. Up to Real. Real loads for a shot. Corcoran lifts his stick just at the right time. And now Schoenheider feeds Corcoran. Corcoran feeds Hernandez. Hernandez shot just wide of the net. Comes up high to Giffen. Giffen goes down low to Hernandez. That was behind him. He couldn't slow it down. Hernandez picks up the puck behind the net. Feeds Giffen in the crease. Oh, and the goalie kind of has it. Giffen on the doorstep. Puck was right there in the low slot. What's that? I'd go with that. Yeah. Giffen wins this between his legs. Krestoff skates across, leaves it for Hernandez. Hernandez turns, shoots. That hits Hall's stick, goes up high into the far corner. Corcoran tries to work it up high. That's picked off by the Capitals, who gets past Nickerson. Capitals coming in. Shot. Easy glove save for Mukai, who's well out of his net, cutting off that angle. And we'll see. Some players having some conversations. As we have Krestoff and Real headed to the bench. Teams will skate 5-on-5. I thought the boys were just talking about where they're going to get a root beer after the game, but apparently the official thought it was worse. Up high, picked off by Schofield. Schofield creates some space, comes in 2-on-1. Has Shibby fakes the pass, then loses the puck. Stepping through his Coop. Coop breaks apart the play from Kappas. He leaves it in the corner. Sko tries to go up high. That's picked off by the Capitals. And then back-checking, Cooper breaks apart the play. Shibby there, picks up the puck in the neutral zone. Chips it off the glass. Tries to chase down Honing. Up high to Schoenheider. Schoenheider holds it in. Gets it in deep, takes a hit from Fairbanks. Schoenheider gloves down the puck, has some room. Leaves it for Schofield. Schofield sends it top corner over the goaltender's blocker to make this a 5-0 hockey game. And with that, folks, a 5-goal differential, we have a run clock. Anand gets replaced by the other goaltender for the Capitals, 0-0. Turdick wins the face-off. Dixon there tries to find the puck. It's just glued to the ice for a second. Now picked up by Meyer. Meyer carries it in. Meyer drives wide, centering pass, hits a skate. Recovered by the Capitals. Capitals. Fitzgerald dumps it in. Far corner. O'Connell goes out to Dixon. Dixon breakout pass to Meyer. Meyer carries it across the red line, dumps it in. Mattioli tries to chase that one down. Mishandled by the Capitals. Recovered by Mattioli. Fits to Dixon. Shot blocked by a Capitals defenseman, number 3. Now up along the half wall. Ooh, that should be a call. That should have been a call. As Turdick got buried along the half wall. Williams with the puck. Sends it up high to Giffen. Giffen on the boards. Carries it in. And then gets tripped up on the play. I don't like it. I mean, the trip was real, but Turdick got buried on the half wall. He should have drawn a penalty. Coop wins this up high to Shibby. Shibby from the point. Feeds it over to Schofield. Schofield backhands it over to Shibby. Shibby across to Mattioli. Mattioli goes for the one-timer. That trickles off his stick. Cooper up to Mattioli. Mattioli up to Shibby at the top. Shibby left side to Sko. Sko back to Shib. Far side to Schofield. Schofield decides not to shoot. Back to Mattioli. Mattioli to Schofield. Schofield loses an edge as the puck gets to him, so mishandles it. Sent in. Here's Cooper with some room. Across to Mattioli. Mattioli is behind him. He takes the shot. Another shot. That hits the outside of the goal frame. Puck comes free. Hernandez on the half wall. Picks up the puck. Sends it up to Shibby. Shibby down to Mattioli. Mattioli up to Shibby. Over to Schofield. Schofield chips it over to Shibby. That bunt jumps over Shibby's stick. Now here comes Shibby. Shibby skates it in. Shibby has Mattioli breaking to the middle. Hernandez in the back. Oh, that pass goes past everybody. There were layers there, but it goes past everybody. Schofield all the way to the top of his own circles. Long pass out to Mattioli. Mattioli touches it into the offensive zone. Coop steps in, breaks apart the play. Mattioli grabs the puck, carries it to the middle. That's poke checked off his stick by the goaltender. Now outlet pass picked off by Meyer. Meyer shot, tip, and the goaltender hangs on to that one. 8:22 counting down here in this run third. Into the corner. Giffen tracks down his player. Breaks apart the play. Picked up by Dixon. Dixon tries to cycle it up high to Schoenheider. Grabs it. Carries it back down. Weathers a check. Keeps on going. Puck is loose. Corcoran swings through. Goes over to the far side. Corcoran there as well. Corcoran slows up that player. Oh, and a big hit on Hernandez, I think. That caught him off guard. And a rough called on Fairbanks. Sorry, that's not Hernandez. That was Giffen. Dixon wins that back. Here's Schoenheider. Schoenheider over to Nicky. Nicky toe drag past one player, shot. That was I think that hit the goaltender and then went up high onto the glass. Schoenheider feeds Nicky again on the left side. Nicky tries to go far side. That's picked off by a Capitals player. Schoenheider forced back to his own blue line. Out to O'Connell. O'Connell feeds it up to Meyer. That slips under Meyer's stick into the corner. Wrapped around. Nickerson's there, mishandles the puck. And now back come the Capitals. Capitals, Nickerson gets a stick on the puck. Spins away from one player, picked up by Dixon. Dixon centering pass, finds Nicky, but it was in his skates. Now up high, held in at the line by O'Connell. Takes a check from Clifford, down low. Ooh, stick save. Comes up high. Shot by Schoenheider. That hits a player on the way through. Knocked out of the air by Schoenheider, but he couldn't hang on to it. Back to the neutral zone. Feeds it over to Nickerson. Nickerson across the blue line. Goes through the skates, into the slot. Gets slowed up and loses an edge. Blame the sharpening. And then up to Paul. Paul. Then back. Long pass out to O'Connell. O'Connell collects that into the offensive zone. Shot. That's wide of the net. Over to the far side. Corcoran on the half wall. Can't hold on to it. That's out to the neutral zone. Picked up by the Capitals. Corcoran sweeps that away from the player. Over to Fitzgerald on the near side. Fitzgerald to Fairbanks. It was in his skates, so he kicks it in. Up high. Fired to the middle. Stick save on a tip shot. I don't know if we call that a tip shot, but I'll give him the save at least. And then that sent the length of the ice for an icing at the 5:10 mark here in the third period. Clock is still running down. False face-off there as players were still moving. It's Nickerson's fault. He was well inside the face-off circle. Can't blame the sharpening on that one, Dad. Shot, stick save, paddle save by Mukai. Right off the face-off. And now a battle for the puck. Shibby kicks it forward to Corcoran. Corcoran feeds Shibby. Shibby across the line. That was offside as Hernandez was just a touch ahead of Shibby on this near side. We'll have a face-off on the Capitals blue line right in front of Matt Meyer's camera here. No, I take that back. They're putting it on the far side. Sorry, Matt's going to have to zoom in if he wants the nice clarity. Face-off, won by the Riders. Mishandled. Corcoran picks it up, sends it back to Nicky. Nicky feeds it out wide to Hernandez. Hernandez back to Nickerson. Nickerson spins away from pressure. Up top. Across to Krestov. Goes under his stick. Krestov tries to find it off the boards. Takes a hit. And chipped up but not out. Hernandez seals the boards. Keeps it in. Hernandez works his way down. Corcoran helping out there. Nickerson couldn't get there in time. Puck is back the other direction. Shibby back to pick up the puck as the Capitals go for a line change. Shibby tries to get it in. Giffen picks up the loose puck, carries it in. Took a bit of a cross check there. I mean, certainly got hit. Now kicked up by Cooper. Cooper tries to dump it in. That's knocked down by Jestat. Jestat gets it up to Real. Real dumps it in, but that's picked up by Schoenheider. Out to Palek, but it was out under his outstretched stick. Back to Schoenheider. Schoenheider feeds it over to Nickerson. Nickerson looking up ice, goes rink wide to Meyer. Meyer from the right side across the line. Takes a shot. Hits Taylor. That goes into the near side corner. Schofield with the puck. Feeds it up high to Schoenheider. Schoenheider, quick wrister. That's just wide of the net. Now on the half wall, Schoenheider keeps it in against Real. Fed over to Palek. Palek tries to find Shibby on the far side that hits an outstretched defensive player. And now the Capitals looking to break out. Long dump in. Mukai makes an easy stick save. Holds on to it. With 2 minutes to go here in the third period. Play broken out by Schofield. Schofield tries to track down Hall. Can't get there in time. Hall with the puck. Sends it across to Clifford. Schofield knocks that down. Touch pass to Palek. Coop, top of the circle. Feeds Schofield. Schofield couldn't hold on to it. Back comes Fairbanks. Fairbanks 3-on-1 now. Back checking is Cooper to break apart the play. Sent across. O'Connell guarding the slot. carries the puck and then takes a hit. And Schofield gets the puck out. 1:07 remaining. Feeds across to Meyer. Meyer back to Schofield. That goes under his stick. Now the 1 minute mark. Schofield slows down his player in the far corner. Here's Schofield again with the puck. Cooper helps him out. Tries to send it across to the far side where Meyer was waiting. Meyer picks it up. Centering pass. That's sitting in the slot and then carried out and chipped up off the glass, held in by Krestoff. Coop with the puck. Coop centering pass that goes right through the crease. Recovered by Schofield. Schofield leaves it for Nickerson with a little scissor. Nickerson centering pass. That doesn't get through. Now up high to Cooper. Cooper on the half wall grabs it. 20 seconds to go. Coop spins away from pressure. Tries to feed Schofield. Now chipped the length of the ice. That'll be an ice, folks, at the 10-second mark. That's going to be the game, and the thing I was going to scold my wife for not even thinking about comes true for Wynn. I think that's his first real shutout. I mean, this season. Yeah. Wynn Mukai with the shutout. 5-0. Folks, thanks for joining us in this final game here in Notre Dame. Thanks for everybody being a great set of parents and making sure all the waiver forms are filled out and blah, blah, blah. Thanks for listening to my wife when I don't, because I don't even think I signed a waiver form, which means she signed it for me. Oh, God, is this recorded again? Thanks for joining us, folks.